Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got another review. Today we're going to be reviewing this 2010 Dodge Challenger RT. All right guys, so like I just said, this is a 2010 Challenger RT. So basically the number of trims, or number of, I guess, trim levels for this year is a lot less than the modern day Challengers and Chargers. So basically for this year, it went from SE, which were the V6s, to the RTs, which were this. So this is, I guess, like the, I guess you could say, base model V8. And then it went to the SRT 8s. Now that being said, I know the modern day Challengers and Chargers because on my channel I did review a 2018 Charger SXT as well as a 2015 Charger Hellcat. So I'll definitely like leave links to that up in the corner of the video right now. But I know that the modern day Challengers and Chargers, their trims are like SXT, and then it's RT, and then it's SRT 392, and then the Hellcat. So there is a lot more trim levels for Chargers and Challengers now. Anyways, I did just briefly want to mention that this is kind of like, I guess, the middle trim level for this specific year. Now that being said, it does come with a 5.7 liter V8 Hemi. I'll get to that more in a second, more in depth. But this car honestly is, in my opinion, really cool. I really like how this owner has everything put together. Everyone knows that these modern day Challengers and Chargers do get ripped on a lot for being boats. So I am going to briefly go over some factory body measurements. So this Challenger does have a length of 197.7 inches, a width of 75.7 inches, a height of 57.1 inches, a wheelbase of 116 inches, and a curb weight just over 4,000 pounds, right at 4,041 pounds, which honestly, that being said, I thought they did weigh a little bit more. But yeah, they definitely are. They're definitely not the smallest cars around. So a lot of people can say that they can be, both the Chargers and Challengers can be a little bit, I guess, a little bit bulky, a little bit like hard around corners. So that being said, I am going to keep that in mind when driving this specific Challenger today. But honestly, I really like the color of this car. I really like how this owner does have it put together. In the front, he does have like blacked out headlight colors that honestly give the front profile like a much more aggressive, much more menacing look than how it is from factory. Also in the back here, he does have a sticker that says it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. So that way, I love how he has it on the back too. So that way, you know, when you're getting gapped by this thing, you know exactly who's gapping. You know Charlie Brown's in the front seat with Snoopy in the passenger seat. And I mean, honestly, after that, like, that's pretty embarrassing. But yeah, this thing definitely does look like the Great Pumpkin with this orange paint color. But honestly, in all seriousness, with the black accents, the chrome accents all the way around the car, it does look really cool. The tinted windows, it does go together really nice. Now, before I move on from the body, I did just want to briefly mention that honestly, out of the two, you know, the modern day Charger and the modern day Challenger, I'd have to say that the modern day Challenger is honestly my favorite over the Chargers, just because, again, when they came out, the Chargers, everyone was kind of upset that they were like 4 doors, whereas the Challenger model stayed 2 doors. You can tell like the very, very classic body lines that go right along the side of the car. I mean, just looks very simplistic, very, very reminiscent, I guess, of its heritage. It does maintain its heritage really well. And plus with this factory orange paint color, which, by the way, it was actually one of 14 exterior color options for this specific year. But yeah, with this factory orange paint color, it definitely looks a little bit reminiscent of like the General Lee. Now, I know there's probably going to be a lot of people in the comments like, oh, it doesn't look like the General Lee at all. But yeah, in my own personal opinion, whenever I see a orange, I guess, modern day Challenger, it does kind of like look a little bit like the General Lee. I'm pretty sure the General Lee was a Charger, but again, the modern day Chargers look completely different than I guess the old school Chargers. So I have to say, out of those two models, the Challenger maintains its heritage a lot better. Now, that being said, guys, moving on to the suspension. The suspension is pretty much completely independent suspension, all 4 wheels. It actually doesn't have a live axle on the back. I thought it did, but again, upon researching it, it is a completely independent suspension. So now I'm going to briefly talk about this wheel setup that this owner actually does have on this car. Now, although it may not look like it, these are actually all the way around. It's actually the 20-inch alloy wheels that came with this car. This chrome piece, it's actually an insert. If you look in here, you can, I guess, kind of tell it's literally like a pop-in insert, which again, some people might have mixed feelings about that. Some people also might have mixed feelings about the tire stickers on the rubber. Honestly, it's the owner's car. He can do what he wants. If it was me personally, I do like the chrome inserts. I think they do look really good. I might not have the stickers on it. Actually, they might not be stickers. They might actually be like inked in. But yeah, anyways, speaking about the tires. So in the back, he does have Mickey Thompsons. He has 295s by 45s by 20s. And in the front, they are also the exact same 295s by 45s by 20s. Now, also, if you look underneath the wheels, you can see the drilled and slotted rotors that this owner actually did put on this car. Now, he also put on orange caliper covers, which again, people do have actually, you know, mixed feelings about caliper covers. Honestly, he got them. They're pretty cheap and they are orange and they do match the paint. So in my opinion, they don't look bad at all. But yeah, I mean, drilled and slotted rotors, that definitely is a mechanical upgrade. I'm pretty sure he also might have carbon ceramic pads on it. I know most drilled and slotted rotor kits do come with the carbon ceramic pads. So I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't really know. But yeah, that's pretty much the setup that this owner actually has on this Challenger. So now I'm gonna pop the hood and talk a little bit more about this 5.7 liter Hemi. All right, guys, so now I actually have the hood popped on this Challenger, and underneath the hood, you can see the 5.7 liter 2-valve per cylinder naturally aspirated V8 that comes in this car. Now, this engine actually produces 372 brake horsepower at 5,200 RPMs and an even 400 foot-pounds of torque at 4,400 RPMs. Now, that being said, this engine is pretty much stock, but the owner did actually add a cold air intake in here. Now, normally I would say cold air intakes aren't really worth it, but as you guys can see, the kit that he actually ordered came with a box, and the pod filter actually goes all the way down there. I don't know if you guys could really see that, but it does kind of like tuck, I guess, right behind that like fender in the grill. So in cases like that where the filter is actually completely like relocated and there's a box around it, I would say cold air intakes are definitely a slight upgrade. Again, they're not incredible by any means, but still, they are still better than cold air intakes that just kind of have like a pod filter sticking out right next to the engine or right over the headers, which in those cases is actually kind of hurting your engine. So anyways, to get back on topic, he does have, I guess, the hyper chip cold air intake, and also the exhaust is completely custom. Basically, it's just the stock exhaust manifolds, the stock catalytic converters, but after the cats, it's pretty much just a straight pipe all the way out the back, and he actually does have the exhaust leaving through quad titanium tips, which do look really cool. They're kind of like, I guess, a little blue, like whatever titanium tips do. So yeah, now that being said, this car probably doesn't make that much more power than factory, but I guess you can probably expect like right around 400, give or take, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So yeah, that power is actually delivered through a 5-speed shiftable automatic transmission. This Challenger is actually a auto, it is not manual. But one downside to having a V8 is normally the fuel economy. Now that being said, this Challenger, when I was researching this actually came as a surprise to me. This Challenger actually has pretty impressive fuel economy numbers. I guess because it might be down-tuned from factory, but this Challenger actually averages 16 miles per gallon during city driving, 25 miles per gallon during highway driving, for a combined average of 19 miles per gallon. Now, that is really not that bad for a V8. Like, that's actually pretty impressive. Now, that being said, the fuel tank in this car actually has a capacity of even 19 gallons. So you actually have a really, really good range with this car. You basically have a range of 304 city miles or 475 highway miles. All right, guys, so now I'm going to briefly talk about this interior before taking this Challenger for a drive. Now, honestly, I mean, I really like this car, but this interior is not that impressive. It is a 2010, but if you didn't tell me, I would think it was actually a little bit older. Now, that being said, I don't really care that much about an interior. If you guys have seen some of my previous videos, you know I don't really care about like fancy options or like creature comforts or I guess interior designs. Like, I just care about the drivability of the car. So that being said, even though this interior might not be super impressive to most people, I really don't mind it at all. But actually, if we look on the speedo here, I don't know if you guys can see it. So yeah, this car does have 107,383 miles on it. So I will keep that in mind while driving this thing. The owner says it drives fantastic, it's great. I don't doubt him, but still, I definitely will keep that in mind. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to take this Challenger for a spin and give you guys my initial reactions. Alright guys, so now I'm actually driving this Challenger. I have it in like the manual mode and I had the traction control off, so I'm gonna give it a little right now. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is definitely fun. This is definitely a fun car. You can tell, I mean, it's kind of obvious how Chargers and Challengers get the boat reputation, because now I'm kind of going around turns with it, and it's definitely bulky. It's big. But again, it's very, very reminiscent of like an old school classic American muscle car. I got a little bit of road. Oh yeah, it definitely gets up. There's definitely a lot of like delay though. Like right there, I was in automatic mode. I put my foot down and it was honestly almost 2 seconds before it actually downshifted. So I'm gonna get back into manual mode. Downshift. All right, we got a green light here. Once it gets to like the higher RPMs, like I just got like, I shifted at a little bit higher than like 5,000, and oh, it sounds good in the tunnel. It sounds really good in the tunnel. But yeah, like I was saying, once it gets to like the higher RPMs, the exhaust that's on it, and again, it's a custom exhaust, it's not like a catback system or anything like that, it's just straight after the cats. it's got this really nice crack to it when it shifts, especially when it's in, again, the higher RPM range. See, that's interesting. In my research, I did, it did say that it's a 5-speed shiftable automatic transmission, and I was just saying 5-speed, 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 but you can actually only go up to 4th gear in it. Maybe it only lets you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it has like an automatic overdrive or something. Definitely let me know down in the comments below, because the owner said that he thought it was thought it was a 4-speed because it only goes up to 4 when you're in manual mode. But everywhere when I was researching this thing, like, I just found 5-speed, 5-speed, 5-speed everywhere. So maybe it's like this kind of like weird, you can only kind of go up to 4 in manual mode, but it has this like automatic overdrive. So anyway, I have a little bit of space, downshift in 2nd. Oh yeah. It takes a little bit of, it's interesting, for like a naturally aspirated V8, it takes a little bit to actually like get going. It's not like super responsive. It is torquey, but it's just not like, it's not like immediate. It's like you put your foot down and then it's like, all right, I guess we're going. But when it does rev up really nice, and when it revs into those higher into that higher RPM range, it keeps pulling, which is a great thing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. I'm sure you guys can probably hear it. Like, I'm not pedaling that at all. Like, that's just full throttle, and it's like, and then, and it just like opens up. The first half, like the lower half, it goes up. I don't want to say slow, but it takes its time, and then all of a sudden when it gets to the higher RPMs, it just like opens up. Now, I would definitely suggest driving this thing in the manual mode, because right now I'm in automatic. Foot down, and then it goes. It does have a decent amount of delay when you're in just like, I guess, the regular automatic mode. But yeah, that being said, it's still definitely pretty fast. Comparing it to, because the only other Dodges that I've done on the channel before were 2 Chargers. One was a Charger SXT, and one was a Charger Hellcat, like I said before. So it's like, so honestly, from what I know with, I guess, modern day Dodges, I've kind of had the perspective of the slowest Dodge, at least the slowest Charger, and the fastest in the Hellcat. So it's like, I'm trying to gauge where this kind of competes, and I would definitely say, even though it's definitely not as fast as the Hellcat, it's kind of more in that realm, if that makes sense. I'm trying to put it into words for you guys. I hope you guys are like understanding what I'm saying. But it's pretty fast. It's super bulky. It is very bulky. I'm honestly pretty interested to see how this thing would fare on a track, because I'm sure you would definitely have to slow down a lot for different turns. Now I'm talking road course, I'm not talking drag strip, because drag strip, it's just kind of go. Whereas a road course, this thing would definitely, I don't know, because I mean, the handle's great. It's super tight, but it is very bulky. But yeah, it hauls. Oh, I'm going way too fast. I'm going a spirited 55. That's all I'm doing. Spirited 55. I don't even think this is a 55 zone. This might be a 45. Yeah, that's one thing though. Like, I was going pretty fast and I didn't even realize it, because this car is very comfortable. Why was he trying to race me? I mean, come on, you got a stock 350Z. What are you doing? All right. what happened right there, I kind of like lined up with this 350Z, and I wanted to do a pull underneath the tunnel like one last time for you guys, but I guess he wanted to try to race, and he did just have a good view of the Snoopy sticker. Let's just put it that way. He was like, oh wow, I just got gapped by the Great Pumpkin. If you stuck to the end of this video, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe also. It helps my channel out a lot. But like always guys, thank you guys for the support, and until next one, see you guys.